Are you having a hard time trusting anyone anymore? You might be, because you're living awake, not woke, but awake of what is going on around you. You're aware. A lot of you guys have become more aware recently of what's going on around you. I know I have. I used to be sort of tracking the news and everything like that. Of course, in the last few years, I've this is now my full-time gig. So I am working on this basically full-time. Well, I wish it was just full-time, and I'm spending 8+ hours, 10+ hours a day, every single day. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I love it to death. But some of you guys might wonder why I don't post more Bible videos. It's because when I do that, I don't sleep all that much because I just sleep less. But trust is a big issue, and trust is the fabric of society. We have the Rhino Republicans in Washington, D.C. We're about to commit outright treason, I believe. And they were caught red-handed with that 1,550-page bill, which is just insane. It's so flagrant. It's like they just don't even care that they get caught. They still passed some of the stuff and basically set Trump up for a big government shutdown in March. So even though they didn't sabotage it as much as they had planned to, they've sabotaged Trump still. And so we look at these people and we ask ourselves, how can we trust these people, right? Is anyone else asking that question? I want to introduce you to a concept that we talked about when I was working overseas. And there's this idea that, I need to work with people as best as I can. When we have some common interests, if we have something that we can work on together, we should work on that together. Just because I'm working with somebody doesn't mean I endorse everything that they're doing. It doesn't mean that we can work together on everything now. There should not be in your world people you can trust and people you can't trust. There should be layers. There should be rings, or so to speak. People that you trust to what extent. Now, Rhino Republicans, or Republicans in name only, I know a lot of people are like, we need to just get rid of them completely. What's her name from Alaska? And they're like, we need to get rid of her. Maine. Alaska, we need to get rid of them. In Maine. And the idea is basically there's no way that a Republican could win the Senate seat in Maine. And so the fact that we have a Rhino winning Maine is better than having a Democrat in that seat. So you see, when you see it like that, it's like, well, I'd rather have a Rhino than to have a Democrat there. Now, maybe you see it the flip side. Maybe you're like, you see it from the Democrat perspective. I don't know. But my point is that you should try to cooperate with people. And instead of thinking, can I trust this person or not, you should ask the question, how much can I trust them? How closely aligned are our interests? There's a lot of talk out there about Elon Musk, okay? Some of you guys are like, he's the devil incarnate. Some of you guys have been saying that for years, and some of you guys have moved from he's the devil incarnate to, he's not such a bad guy. You got Donald Trump out there. You got all sorts of people you interact with, right? And I think that it's important for us to see the world in shades of gray, not black and white. And to have a framework that works in life. Now, I understand it's much easier to say, that's a bad person, that's a good person. But when you come to somebody like AOC, the question is can you work with her on anything? Like, is there anything that we have in common? Is she just trying to destroy the United States of America? And if so, then no, we can't. And some of you are like, of course she is. Is she, though? There are some things that even she will vote for. Things that I agree with. And you know what? On those things, we can work together. Are you going to watch your back to make sure you don't get stabbed right there? That's probably a good idea. Should you make sure that she doesn't steal any of your silverware when you come over for a planning meeting at your house? Probably. And if you actually have silverware, let me know down in the comments down below, because I don't know, most of us just have just steal. Does anyone actually have silverware anymore, or fancy silverware? I have fancy plates, but I do not have fancy silverware. Anyway, I have some better forks that I'll pick them out. Anyway, just because you're working with someone doesn't mean you trust them. Just because you work with them on one thing doesn't mean you work with them on everything. And so when I was working overseas, we had rings of trust. And that was kind of based because some of the stuff that I was doing was religious work, Christian work. And so, I'm a Baptist, right? And so we have other organizations that are Baptists. We believe that after you profess faith in Jesus Christ, you should get dunked underwater. There's other people out there who are like, you need to sprinkle the babies before they have any choice in the matter. That's a difference of opinion. Now, I mean, if they're Christians and they're teaching the Bible, we can do a lot of things together. We can do missions work together. We can do outreaches together. But when it comes to training pastors, we can't work together. It's better for them to have their seminary over there and train pastors over there, and we'll train our pastors over here. We're not going to work together on that, but we can do outreaches together. We can do, we can share health insurance. Working together multiplies your efforts and your resources. And that's a good thing to happen. So if the power goes out and the grid goes down and you got a neighbor over there, don't be like, are they a good person or a bad person? You need to realize that under certain circumstances, they're going to be a bad person to you. No matter how trustworthy they are, they're going to be a bad person to you. If their family is hungry and starving, they will steal from you. I mean, that's just probable. Some people will never, ever do that. They'd rather starve to death than steal from anyone else. And those are good people. Trust people like that. But how do you know that person from people who will break under other circumstances, right? And most times you can't tell. You can't tell the difference. At what point can you no longer trust this person? What you should do is trust but verify, right? That's what Ronald Reagan used to say. Trust but verify when it appears that your agendas, your purposes are aligned. If you can work together to get that field producing potatoes, and you can together produce more potatoes than you could separately, that's you can kind of trust, because they're going to be eating out of that field just like you are. You can trust that they're probably going to be working towards making that field productive. Now, should you make sure that they're not taking some of the potatoes out early? That might be prudent and wise, and set up structures to hold each other accountable to make sure that nobody harvests any of those potatoes early. And you can couch it in not, I don't trust you, but rather, there might be other neighbors who come here and try to steal our potatoes. Let's put a watch up. Let's have on every watch one person from our household and one person from your household watching over this potato patch. You see, you can partner with somebody that you don't fully trust. You should always, always be looking at people like this. Going into the election, I said, vote for Donald Trump. I really think we should vote for Donald Trump. Now, after the election, I've been saying things more nuanced, like we should hold Donald Trump accountable. We should keep putting pressure on Donald Trump. Make sure that he moves in our best interests. Why? Because I trust him to a certain level, right? At this point, I think that he has shown himself to be doing what he thinks is best for the country. But you know what? I don't agree with him on everything. I don't agree that we should leave abortion up to the states. I don't think we should do that. I think we should ban it all the way across the country. I have disagreements with him. Now, that belief was part of the reason why I said we should elect Donald Trump as opposed to Kamala Harris, because Donald Trump was more closely aligned to my policy understanding, right? And you know what? Some of you guys just bristled because you're like, I don't agree with you, Steve. And you know what? That's fine. You can still watch my videos. I try to make sure that I don't nail you too hard on stuff. I mean, we can have a conversation and you guys can disagree with me on stuff. And you know what? We can still gather together to gather intelligence and share information, right? There are people who are on this channel who are Christians. There are people on this channel who are Jewish. There are people here on this channel that are atheists. And you know what? That's okay. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. Now, you may like another channel. You know, you may like that the cursing over at that channel feels more authentic to you and you feel like he's more raw or more real. And you know what? That's fine. You can have your preferences. We can all have channels we like more or less. We can have politicians we like more or less. But at the end of the day, we should have this spirit of collaboration. But a lot of people really do have that perspective of this person disagrees with me on this one point, and so therefore they're a terrible person. Friends, that's not how the world works. And if you think like that, you're going to find that everybody is against you. And that's not a good way to live your life. Find the common ground that you can, and when you disagree with people, you can chalk it up to, in those areas, I disagree with this person. And yeah, there may be moral faults in them that cause them to have those positions that you disagree with. You may see some personal agendas there. I can't help but think back to people of history, like George Patton. He was a terribly flawed individual. He was a jerk. He was a delusional psychopath. And yet, he was the right man for the mission. And you go through history and you see John MacArthur. You see these other people. Winston Churchill, another guy like that. Just like they're kind of horrible people. But they were the right person for that moment. They were the person that did what no one else could. Once society didn't need them to do that anymore, they got pushed out. Once the war was over, the Allies did not need John MacArthur anymore. They did not need George Patton anymore. Did not need Winston Churchill anymore, and they got pushed out. They needed people who were going to actually bring people together, to bring peace. And while some of them worked quite well, like John MacArthur did, am I saying that right? MacArthur, whatever his first name was. I'm now thinking it's not John. Sorry about that. We need to see people for their usefulness. And you know what? You're going to find yourself to be a much more grateful, much more compassionate person when you start seeing people's good attributes and you're focused on them instead of trying to find one attribute that you disagree with and then dismissing them as a person. That's my opinion. That's how I live my life. Let me know what you guys think. Perhaps I've just convinced a bunch of you guys that I am a horrible person too. And some of you guys let me know that in the comment section down below, like you usually do. And that's fine. That's fine. You have your opinions. I'm sure there are lovable qualities about you, and I'm sure that there are great things that where we agree on. And so, you know, thanks for coming to the video, right? Thanks for watching this video. And if you watched the video, then cool. You know, thanks for helping support this channel and make this what it is. A lot of you guys know that this channel is self-supported. One of the things you may notice on this channel is I never ask you for money. I suggest products, but I don't ask you to like give me money. And I think that's just how could I? I think that this is a great opportunity for us to come together, work together. There is some money that comes in through the ads and the sponsorship with Genesis Gold. And every time you guys make some purchases on Amazon, using my links, I get like a little tiny little fraction of that, and it doesn't raise the prices or anything like that. So I want to make sure that I'm suggesting good products to you guys and good things that will be a win for you, and we can win together. That's what capitalism is all about, right? And when you guys do send in money, like the donations, like if you hit that donate button or whatever, if you do things like that, you know what happens is that all of that money actually gets donated to my mission in India, where we train pastors over there, pastors who are being persecuted for being Christians. A number of the pastors that we've trained just in the past year are actually imprisoned for their faith. Several of them were arrested for actually having Bible studies in villages. So this is, it's important work going on over there. We have important work down in North Carolina. Part of this channel has been donated to that work as well. And you guys have all donated directly. A lot of you guys have donated directly to some of those ministries and such like that. And we come together and do some amazing things together. And it's been a great year. I just want to thank you guys for this year. And, just kind of throw out some of that stuff that I don't usually talk about. So there's no Patreon on this. There is a membership that some of you guys are on, and you'll notice I never talk about it. That we do some ideas to do a live stream every so often, and to let those people behind the scenes a little bit, some early access videos, stuff like that. But that's if you want to, right? We don't promote that here. And I try not to put anything behind a paywall that is useful to the general community. So that's kind of what we do here on this channel. And some of you guys absolutely hate that idea, any of those ideas. And but I think hopefully you see in that that I am aligned with a lot of your interests. And my interest is to provide you guys with the information that you guys want. And to find useful information so that you come back and watch. And in that, together we work. And we've built something here together that I think is truly amazing. And I am personally grateful for it. And I keep hearing thanks from you guys constantly for what we've built here together. And I keep always just thinking to myself, as I see those comments, I'm always kind of like, I want to pass this on to the community, because I didn't just build this by myself. We built this. And so this Watchman community has been a profound impact on my life, and I know it has had significant impacts on some of your guys' lives. I just got an email from a person that was sharing, I don't know if they're a lady or a man, but just sharing about how that they started prepping because of this channel. And they didn't know what they were stockpiling for, the end of the world or grid down or whatever. And then they had, I have it up here right now, I did not think that I would be preparing for a medical disability. After suffering heart failure and losing my job, I discovered I have approximately 3 years worth of food and supplies. That is all thanks to you. But I immediately want to go to our community. Right? To our community. So we may think we know what we are prepping for, but we really never know what is to come. My best advice, just be ready for anything. Thank you. Just stuff like that. I get emails like that like all the time. All the time. And what we've built here together is impacting lives. We've trained hundreds of pastors over in India, pastors who would not be trained elsewise. They're rural pastors who volunteer in villages. They don't get paid, or if they do get paid, they get paid a pittance. They have to work. They work out in fields. They work as drivers. They work regular jobs, and then they're pastors in their little village, and they're persecuted. They're beaten. They are arrested. They've had their all of their private belongings seized, some of them. it's a different world. It's a different world over there, and part of what we do here is actually part of that, and that allows me to be a trainer to go over there and do that type of work too. So again, I couldn't be more grateful to all of you and to the opportunity that God has given me to be a part of this community and to help bring this community together. And I look forward to this next year because we're going to do some awesome things together, and you guys are critical to that. Every day I look into the comment section and I find updates from you guys. And I find all sorts of really heart-moving updates. I see stuff that I didn't even think about. You guys point out stuff that I didn't notice that I have to go search for. And I find that. And I was like, I probably wouldn't have found that myself. So you guys are just a fantastic community. And don't let any other community out there tell you that they're better than this community here. No, we got some awesome other channels on here. I watch these other guys too. I know what some of you guys watch. Some of these other channels, I can actually see some of the other channels that you guys watch. I'm going to share that with you now because that's fun. The top channels that you guys watch, let's see here. I actually have this here. Top channel is Canadian Prepper. Now this is by gross numbers. So, I mean, Canadian Prepper has a lot more subscribers and a lot more viewers. So, statistically speaking, you're most likely to watch a Canadian Prepper video out there. After that, Steve Ram, Appalachia's Homestead with Patera. Of course, Redacted. Pinball Preparedness is up there. And that's a relatively small channel. Pinball is actually one of the guys that inspired me to get going. So that makes sense. Economic Ninja, he also inspired me to get this channel going, so it makes perfect sense that a bunch of you guys watch Economic Ninja over there, Trevor. Jeremiah Babe, awesome stuff there too. The Prepared Homestead, love them. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, The Max. Patrick Humphrey, Snyder Reports, Stephen Van Meter, I Allegedly, and Squirrel Tribe. Actually, I haven't seen Squirrel Tribe up there for a little bit. So, yeah, we're all kind of watching a lot of the same stuff, right? But thank you so much for being a part of this, and I look forward to this coming year. If you want to check out another video from this channel, usually when I point to the screen up there, it populates it with like a field, and it usually populates it with the most recent video. Because you guys watch the video and you stop watching videos generally right after the videos come out. So that usually takes you right to the most recent video. So that's why I don't tell you which one it is. All right, there's a video right up there. I'll see you guys over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.